Hi guys, and welcome back to the Psychic Sleuth. I'm sorry I'm a little behind on things, but I'm working on doing better. It's just been so hot. I'm praying it's going to cool down and I can get more content out. That's what I'm really working on. So all the ways to support me in the channel and what I do is below in the link tree. If you would like to send tips or whatever, that is much appreciated, but not necessary. Just by being here, liking, subscribing, hitting the share button and the copy. You don't have to actually share it if you don't want to, but it does help the algorithm. So just send me a nice comment, do the like button, and that'll help out the algorithm a lot. I could really use it right now, so I appreciate it. And actually, I was doing the pendulum work, and I don't know if I have the right area. So I'm going to share the pendulum with you after I'm done with the reading, just the area that I'm getting. And again, pendulum is new for me. I'm not sure how accurate it is. I've never had it like tested myself and know if there's actual remains where I get. But the area does make sense. The lights were going off. I missed it for recording, so I'm not sure. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of explain that, like, the pendulum is new for me. I'm trying it a new way from this lady that I've watched, and I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I'm going to give you location anyways. It's not going to hurt. And I'll do that at the end of this, okay? So, all right, sorry, I'm a little tired. I'm getting tingles on my head right now, so that's spirit. And when I was doing the pendulum, right when I got to where I was going to stop, I felt like a little tickle right here, and it wasn't a bug. It kind of felt like a bug, but when I went to go do that, nothing happened. So keep in mind that this is not factual information. This is entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. And hopefully we have some exciting things coming up. To remind you, I will be on TikTok with Steven tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Actually, it's today because it's 12:54 when I'm putting this out. So Friday. And come join us and have some fun. And I'll try to post it again on YouTube. And then I'm going to try to bring him on my channel. We're trying to, just do lives together and whatnot. So hopefully there'll be some good changes coming up. And hopefully, some of the things I've been manifesting will come true. So hang tight for that. And I'll explain a little bit more into that as that gets going. All right, so this is Jay Slater's Autowrite. I already did a reading on him. I didn't get anything different this time. So if you want to check the tap in, I think the tap in was pretty accurate. This is just more deep and detailed. So I did do that first, and I'm just going to read because this is an Autowrite, so I'm reading what I already channeled in case and I'm going to explain all of that as well. All right. So again, I've already done tapping with Jay. I'm not sure if I can get much more, but I'll try, and I actually did. I have been questioning because of all the drama going on in theories. However, that has also happened in Kylie, and what I was shown with her was correct all along. So let me just explain how an Autowrite works. And again, I'll try to talk as slow as I can, but again, I'm ADHD. I have my Mercury in Aquarius. I do tend to talk fast. It feels like normal speed to me, but it is not for some people, and it is for some people. I can't make everybody happy, so you can always slow me down if you need to. Okay. So how an Autowrite works, there's a link in the description box if you want to watch that video to explain that as well, if you're new, and how Autowrites work. Information that comes in can be past, present, future. It can be symbolic, metaphoric, not always literal in how I see it. And some things can have multiple meanings. Spirit will use my references, experiences, other cases that I've seen, or how I relate to things to try to describe what's being said. This is all telepathic communication. I keep my mind in check as much as I can because sometimes our thoughts are also similar to info coming in, but things are also as we perceive them. So I try not to perceive them wrong, but I am taking feelings, visions, words, thoughts, things that like I just know, or feelings I just know, and trying to translate that to you. It's like their own language. So we have to learn as mediums to speak spirit's language, and we all have our own language with them. So most of the time I can tell what they mean, but sometimes they mean other things than what I feel. I'll just explain what I'm seeing and we'll take it from there. I never try to say one way or another if someone is alive or not. I just let the reading speak for itself. I don't guess. These are not my opinions. Your opinions are welcome, but please don't go against spirit or say, no, that's not what happened. This happened. I can't stand those kind of comments. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, but just I try to respect spirit, and what they give, and I hope you do too. Because what I'm being shown is what I'm being shown. All right. No one else was there. So I might be wrong, but it doesn't matter. I'm giving what spirit gives, and that's it. If people want to, do their own readings and stuff, that's what YouTube's for. Anyways, this is to try to give a voice to the victim and those that can't speak to us because they're missing or whatever. I can only give you what they choose to show me, as everything has timing. I'll get what I meant to in the time that I'm supposed to get it. We don't know everything, and we can only give what we get. We are just humans connecting to another vibration and trying to get puzzle pieces together from what we are given. I ask you to respect me, respect spirit, and respect the channel, people in the comments, and in everyday life. Many people may not agree with what I get, and that's okay. This is what I'm getting. Spirit is never wrong, but I may be in how I perceive things. Let's just take the puzzle pieces and try to put them together. Oftentimes I'll describe locations. It's hard, I realize, mostly because it looks the same. And with this, it's like in another language, so it's really hard hard as well. I may get things around the story, around his life, etc. It may not have everything to do with that night or that time period. Keep that in mind. Also, with Autowrites, they do bring in interconnects. There's a video of how that works in the description box as well. But other cases may come in past, present, or future. I noticed this with names especially, which I didn't really get any names this time. So I'm getting Tanya right now, though. So hang on to that for a future case, because it tends to be similar cases or cases around the same timeline or the timeline they're going to be found. Even cases that haven't happened yet. So we take what fits and hang on to the rest. This is a deeper channel, so keep that in mind. I can pick up, again, other things that don't relate here. We call them interconnects. And I do, unfortunately, know more about this case than I care to, because it's all over the place. You can't really miss it. When I work cases, I try not to know anything, and I try not to let anything that's out there, like, affect my reading. I just try to give what spirit gives. But if facts or info are known that comes in, it just does, and I'll say it. Because facts will come in anyways to validate, and I'll never tell you anything that I'm not getting, because I'm in a channel. So I'm not stopping and thinking about stuff that's out there. I'm just giving what I'm get, but it's part of a validation. So I see what I see, and that's it. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only, so this is not factual information. All right? And when it comes to, like, location and stuff, I'll get reference points, things around it, things you would pass, etc., etc. So do keep that in mind. Or direction, things that's in a certain direction to lead us in a certain direction, if that makes sense. Okay. He shows me music going on. Yes, I know he was at a concert, party, whatever it was, but this is what I see. I see him taking sips from people's drinks as well on his own. I see bumps of stuff. I can smell weed, or the devil's lettuce, whatever you want to call it. It's a party, and Jay was living the high life, literally. I feel like he had been partying for a few days, or there's a reference to not wanting the party to stop, which I think came in the prior reading. But I see him dancing and acting, or dancing around and acting, kind of like how drunk or high guys do at a party. We have all been young once. This is what most young people do, but you get the idea. The music is really loud. Lights are everywhere. I do think that Jay was into certain things. As mentioned in my first reading, narcotics came in, gang ties. Yes, I am aware of this now, but it came in before. It's just being reiterated. I get a reference to stealing things, though, other than a watch. There's a wallet lifted at some point. Do I feel like this was some kind of elaborate plan to get Jay there and take revenge on him? No, it doesn't come across that way. Do I feel like he ran off and he's away living somewhere in paradise? Again, that's not the way it's coming across. Do I feel like due to the circumstances he put himself in danger? Yes. I do feel like he was going maybe to do things with these guys. I feel like they may have known same circles. In a way, it comes across, if I get stuff as I'm talking, I'll let you guys know, but they may have met before, or there may be something before. I don't know if it's like days before or whatever, but I get that reference. There may be even more to it, but there's a reference to being in a car going on windy roads with the window down and not feeling all that great at one point, whether that's too much in a system or whatever. You know how a car makes you feel after you've been drinking. I feel like he was trying to score either money, drugs, whatever. But I do feel like, again, he is attached to a darker underground world that he may have gotten into because he's just that kind of personality. Living life on the wild side, wanting to live, again, the high life, having nice things. And he knows either way, he knows easier way to get things. I feel like he could be really fun and outgoing person, but he did have a temper or dark side. And when people egg him on, it causes him to get involved in more things, if that makes sense. Like when someone is hyping up your energy. I do feel, and he would also try to do things to like, so people would like him. You know, sometimes people act out so that people like you, or, you know, they act a different way in public than they do in private. That's kind of the energy I'm feeling. And like he wanted the approval is what I'm hearing. I do feel him and the female are in the same stuff, and there is a crime world element. I have to admit, a lot of things coming out here are sketchy, but we see that in a lot of high profile cases. It's not something that's new in any case where someone vanishes. And I've always questioned my first reading, but usually first reading is most accurate, and they will keep taking me back to the accident cards as I'm typing. They tend to do that and try to show me things. Like they will show me the cards I've pulled to remind me when I start questioning. Especially if I start overthinking. I do feel like whether he was set up or not, that's kind of not clear, but I feel like I don't leave with much, or it doesn't go as planned, but partying does seem to continue there at the B&B. I think of there's not a lot of puzzles around this as people feel. I think they tend to look for things and everything. I always get that feeling, though, like leaving in a hurry and maybe trying to go in a different direction, thinking I'm going a certain way for a certain reason, whether it's to stop or maybe I feel like it's a shortcut. I'm not seeing much from the night before other than it feels like there's deeds done, maybe exchanges made, etc. They show me that he went to the place by himself. That's the way it comes across. Like I see him traveling there alone or hitching a ride, whatever, but he was by himself. I do feel the reason that I pulled the female card and male card is because they were around the situation. They know what Jay was into. They did know where he went to do what he did, and that was in the prior reading. There may have been even a setup in a way by a third party, if that makes sense. But in the crime world, when you're dealing with certain people, it doesn't come across that these guys really did anything, though, because I see Jay leaving alive. That's what I keep seeing. And I always feel like I'm turned around or it gets hotter than I think and I'm going a shortcut. I get the feeling I got with JJ where I'm turned around like JJ, the little boy, when I did that, when I was in the woods and I was like turned around. I think this came in the first reading with the cards, but where I got turned around, lost, and I don't know. And I'm asking about the phone and glasses in my head because it's random that they would be in random spots, right? It makes me question everything. But it's almost like, I don't know. You all know how you feel after drinking and partying, and you may be dehydrated and you're in an irritated mood. And maybe he didn't leave that way, but at some point along his journey, he got that way. That's the way it's coming across. I feel like Jay had a short temper sometimes, and it may have been like this piece of crap doesn't work, or I'll just buy a new one, or I'm stumbling and these glasses are useless. You know, they may have been scratched up or something. I don't know. I'm kind of seeing scratches on them. All I know is when I connect to him, my body aches. Like it could be, you know, aching from the pain of like being out in the heat, walking and having the night that I had before. I know is when I connect to him, my body aches. They also always show me like jagged rocks, edges, foliage, brushes, cactuses. I also feel like a path. I feel like I walk up instead of down. Again, I don't know why this is almost like I'm going this way for my own reasons. I feel like I take a path to my left. I don't know if there's a path there now. I can be flip-flopped and mirrored sometimes, but that's how it feels. And I feel like when I'm down the path at a certain point, I'm looking back like I've come too far now, but the path is not clear. And I'm like, do I continue or do I turn around and go back? It feels like I'm getting to another road, so I want to keep going. So I don't know if I feel, and it feels like I'm ignoring what people are telling me. Like I know better. Sorry, but that's coming in as I'm talking. And I don't know. I feel like I keep seeing him without a shirt. So I don't know if he took off his shirt and it'll be found somewhere because I keep seeing him with no shirt on. I don't know if he took it off, took it back on, why he was referencing his shirt so much. I don't know if he wore a belt but a belt and low hang, like kind of low hanging, like you know how sometimes their pants kind of hang a little bit below their boxers or underwear. And I can't tell if it's pants or shorts. Can only see the top. Jeans. I can only see the tops, the top of the bottoms, and the boxer sticking out, like you know the top of it. So I don't know why he's showing me this unless it's to say I took off my shirt, I got hot, coughing, and I left without water. And I feel like after drinking all night and all that stuff, like he was already dehydrated. I don't feel like he was in the right frame of mind. I have been hungry since I started this reading, and I think that maybe he thought if he went up, he'd run into food, or there's someone I see him talking to, pointing in a direction for him. Like, I'm not seeing any of these people doing anything to him. I hear maybe in business with them or a set up situation, but I see him leave. And I think there may be accounts of him leaving to corroborate this, but many people will think people are being paid off. Oh, that's just a lie. All I can see is I see him take off. I do see him put his shirt in his back pocket, like he's walking with it. And I think the trail is to the left, or that's where it's coming in. I feel like it's like go towards water for whatever reason, maybe thinking he could cool off. But then it's like I'm too far to turn back now. And like maybe I feel things are closer than they are, or they seem to be. It's like maybe his phone did die and he threw it because he got ticked and it died, and that he didn't have a map. So I hear the words winging it. And I feel like at this point he's hot and tired, and he may be a little delusional. I get delusional when I'm hot walking around here. It doesn't take long to feel that way. And if you're already dehydrated, you know what I mean? And we don't know, with all of the things he did with his body, what state he was actually in. He may have seemed okay, but sometimes things catch up with you later. That's something we have to think about. Okay. I do, I keep also feeling like I'm hungry, thirsty. I do again feel like he was in with bad people and did some shady shiz. Like, it came in the first reading. I don't know. Every time I try to see someone doing something to him, like I don't see it. Just like with Kylie, I didn't see it. They kept showing me her driving the car. It's the same thing here. Like I keep seeing the same thing over and over, and no matter where I try to veer from it, I'm not seeing anything else. I also think his thoughts were to steer clear of where he came from, because stealing things or whatever, and thinking he's going to chill at somewhere for a bit. And that's another reason why I feel like go opposite direction. Like I'm always wanting to take a bit to get where I actually need to be, or I have other plans, or I think I know better. But again, it comes across, because I feel like he could be stubborn, honestly. But it comes across as tough, as I thought I could find another way or another place, and that food was closer, and that maybe when I did find what I was looking for, or you know, maybe saw a cop, like I'm a bit paranoid that I take this trail. So I don't know how hot it is, but we all know how high alcohol dehydrates, and then when you're in the heat and like you've been doing things all night, like it can get dangerous. Thing is too is that I'm getting that he wanted to leave in a hurry. Jay wanted to do what he wanted to do, and no one was going to tell him any different or give him any other directions. I remember seeing a video of what people thought was blood on the steps, again throwing me, but I think I'm just not seeing anything happening to him inside there. I could be completely wrong, and I'll be okay with that. If I am, well, I'll try to be okay with that. But I tend to go, my ego doesn't really want me to be okay with that, but I can only give what I'm getting. But I tend to go against the grain, and spirit usually doesn't lead me astray. And as I question that, they just shot the word lost at me. Like they spelled it out and sent it like in my mind to me. I think that he thought he could do it. He was strong enough for the fact, I don't know. I keep getting like a 5 mile, but then I get like a 10 mile radius. And I want to go towards, I guess, the water, the way that it comes across, but very rocky type crevices. There may be places when it rains, there's water, and he may be, in a sense, end up having water around him or be in it at some point. But it's almost like if I could get to water, I could cool off. I could maybe find some. I don't know. I feel like I get a hiker sign, and I saw some on the map, so that would they would look exactly like I was seeing. So this may be by an area where hiking happens sometimes. It may be symbolic for a hiker. But you know, when you're in areas and there's a hiker signs, like out here in the US, there's hiker signs, and it's like hiking areas. It's a sign with like a person with a stick, like a walking stick. So they keep showing me that, and I feel like he wasn't thinking clearly in any way from what he was going on around him. And if he didn't want to sell things, have a party, continue, etc., then he would have went back and maybe been okay that night. But he keeps showing me the guys and maybe doing bumps with them or something, and they're shady, no doubt. But this could be something that could get them caught. There may have been threats at some point. I get that too. Like he was getting underhanded threats. I don't even use those words, so that's interesting. I'm not even sure what it completely means, but almost like I have this plan to lay low a bit, but it would be like I go like up the road. I feel like how you feel when you're walking up a road, like that feeling. And then like, you know, how you kind of like you step. It's hard to like explain, but I can see it in my mind. And then it's like, F it. I'm not ending up where I think I'm going to take a left. Like again, maybe he was going towards water or something. I don't know. I feel like I get turned around and not meaning to. And they could have sent him, you know, directions and he still got turned around. But now I feel like I had looked at a map at some point and had an idea. I feel like they keep going the direction of the glasses. Those may have been thrown like out of frustration. Like if they keep going, I keep getting reference to his shirt. So that keeps coming, like maybe his shirt's not far from that, or they'll see his shirt. I keep feeling like I'm sliding a bit or stumbling. So they kept showing me him stumbling in the last reading. And yes, when I saw it was dark, that could have been the day before. The timeline was off, or he was still going at night. Like he had went all day and was still going at night and began stumbling. Or that's just how I'm seeing it. So keep that in mind. This can be at any time, but I feel like he was still stumbling throughout the day, obviously. Like when you're walking in uneven terrain like that, but I feel like he had his shirt in his pocket, like his back pocket. And I don't know why he keeps showing me that either. It will be found, or he's saying he took it off at some point. I don't know. I don't know how hot it is there again, but I keep feeling like I need water. I'm hot. I need food. Getting that symbolism of a man wandering in a vast desert with sand and like he's stumbling, hot, hungry, and dehydrated. I feel lost and like it's taking me forever to get where I'm trying to get, but I can't turn back now because I'm already too far, or like I'm turned around. I mean, he's young, maybe not thinking straight. He's only 21, not a lot of life experience. Maybe hasn't been out there in the wild in a sense, but it's like I can do this, you know. This is nothing, etc. I again feel like he lived life on the edge anyway. Do I think he ran off and made another life somewhere? No, that's not the way it's coming across. And now I've got major head pain. It feels like at some point he slipped, fell, and there's a reference to a head injury. But I don't think they have seen vultures or any kinds of birds out there circling, but he's showing me that may be symbolic. And honestly, I look out and I feel like I'm going towards water, or the water, like it could be directional, just like I'm going towards the ocean. I don't know why he would go that way or why he didn't just go back the way he came, but I explained that as best as he's giving it to me already. I know it doesn't make sense, but I do a lot of crap that doesn't make sense, and going back like I should have done this way or I should have gone that way. Like he's showing me when I went hiking looking for that lady up in Phoenix and how we were going up these mountains, and then when I look back, I seem so far back and it's like crap. Or I could just keep going it to my destination. I've already made it this far. That's the way it's coming across. But I don't know why my left knee hurts, and I also feel like I can't breathe. And as I'm doing this, like my chest is starting to hurt again. My throat is starting to hurt. So he may have had some kind of medical emergency too with his body while he's out there in his condition, you know, thinking he's young and stuff. Young people can still have things happen. But my head's hurting really bad. So there's a reference to, like, again, heart as well, which is interesting because my chest is hurting. But I also feel like I'm stumbling around at some point. I do feel like these loose rocks or something. There's a reference again to like cliffs or jagged rocks. I did try my pendulum on this before. I did post on the community page. I was drawn to an area, but it's not seeming right. So my pendulum is new again. Not sure how accurate it is. I'll try again after this just to see, and I will post it. But and it will give a roundabout area. But I think I kind of feel like I've gotten myself into hot water. They keep throwing the word lost at me. And it's weird. They're giving me helicopter circling. So they may have circled and missed him. I have to tell you, this terrain isn't easy to navigate. I was in something similar when I went to Phoenix. Very easy to not be seen in that type of brush terrain. Very hard to navigate. Very hot. I don't know if it's how hot it is there, but I keep feeling like it's hot. Or warm. There's reference to September. but I also get something with August for some reason. I keep wanting to cough too. So I get like cactus and lodi. I don't know what that is. I don't know if there's a type of flowers or cactus with flowers on them. I also get this brush. That he may have fallen just like in a rocky type area where there may be water if it rains, like a ravine, a cliff area, something like that. There seems to be layers of rocks. And I get like sage type brush or bush brushes, like they're pokey kind of, and they have little flowers on the end. I get that as well. I keep trying to, I think they're white flowers. I think. Remember, these are visions. I keep trying to see someone doing something to him and putting him somewhere. I just keep seeing J-Lo stumbling around lost. I know people aren't going to believe it because they want the drama, or accidents don't happen, just like in Kylie's, or it must be a crime bosses because of what he's into. Believe me, I was questioning everything, but I kept trying to see something happen and I couldn't see it. So, getting himself into sticky situations. My chest is hurting really bad right now, and not making good choices from the beginning. Period. That's how it comes across. And I did get Duncan in another reading. I want to say that it was Caleb or something. I'm not sure, but I was like, it's not Dunkin' Donuts. I wish I could remember what reading that was, but you guys should remember me saying. But it was an interconnect because his mom's name is Debbie Duncan, and that's in my opinion. But that's I thought that was interesting, and that's just the way how interconnects work. Are these people taking advantage of this situation? Are there people taking advantage of this situation? Yes. Is there a bunch of crap going around? Yes. We see that a lot. Do people, I mean, in my opinion, I don't feel anybody was involved with Kylie. I feel like she was kind of left vulnerable and an accident happened and everybody blamed like the best friend and stuff. It's almost like that kind of going on with Lucy Law, although I feel like she's kind of in this like similar crime stuff. But as far as like, and maybe because of her, like he got himself into this situation, but that's basically it. That's the way that it comes across. But we do see that a lot. So do some people know more about what he was into? Probably. Does it feel like this was crime related in a way that someone did something? I just keep seeing him stumbling along. I think he thought if he got to the coastline or water, or I'm not really sure, he could follow it. My brain doesn't seem like I'm thinking very clearly at some point. And almost like it was like funny to him at some point too. But I'm reminded of another case I know where I did a reading where a person was lost in the woods but tried to follow the water or river. So that does happen. I keep getting lots of brush and lots of bush, so to speak, rocky areas, and I keep smelling like that smell of fresh weeds or some sort of bush. I don't know, when it rains it smells stronger. I also can smell the ocean and hear seagulls. That could be, I don't know how far out here, like the ocean, how close the ocean is or whatever. It's hard to tell on a map. Everything seems further and closer. It could just be directional, okay? Or the fact that they're on an island. I don't know, but I keep getting that. Like I could see it almost, or maybe that was his idea. I'm not sure. Maybe he's lost his footing trying to get to it, but he's fallen down somewhere. You can't see him from the sky. And again, my chest and my head are hurting, so that seems to be involved. And I've been told many times this area has been searched only. I've been told many times areas have been searched to only have people found there later. There's reference to an S, so I don't know what that is. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'll tell you where I'm being drawn to really in a minute. I also see a group of cactus by me, like a larger group, or by him, but I'm in his shoes. So, like a larger group, maybe a couple of those cactuses, like put together, things together, like, but these bushes, I kind of see similar to the ones here in the desert. I don't know what they're called. They have like little flowers on them, or I kind of also reminds me of like sagebrush, but I have some like similar ones here. I don't know what they're called. They have kind of like a strong smell. So I would take the search up a bit, not down, and maybe towards the ocean, or I don't know if that ocean thing is symbolic, but it's going to be hard. He's not seeable. He's fallen in a spot where he's covered by foliage and may even be a crevice or close to one. But I have to say, like, for days when I was trying to get Phone J, I kept seeing someone falling off a cliff. I'm not trying to laugh about that, but the way it was coming in my mind, it was like flying off a cliff towards the ocean. And it may have been symbolic, and I don't even know if it was him. Because when I was getting the tractor, I was like, oh, that's Caleb, but it wasn't. It was the moms. So I'm not really sure. I just need to put it out there because it kind of keeps popping up. But I can hear like ocean, so reference points maybe, because Spirit gives reference points. So again, he could have just been maybe trying to go that way. I'm not really sure. I don't know, but I feel off a trail. So you would have to go off the trail to find him. There's a reference of my head too. And right when before I said that, my head just started hurting really badly all of a sudden. Like I've hit my head. And I feel like I'm staring at like a blue sky at some point. Like maybe before I pass out or something. But there's a reference to rain. So I don't know if it means like an area where it rains, there's water forbid, or if it's gonna rain. Something like that, or if it's been raining, I'm not sure. There's something with the shoes not being able to handle the terrain or like breaking or something like that as well. Something with the shoes, feet as well, which is interesting. With Saturn and Pisces, you tend to have stuff with the feet as Pisces rules the feet. So that's interesting that came in. So I don't know if they just missed him or didn't take the search this area. And that's what I'm getting. But it's like up 5 and then 10. Like it's like a up 5 and then over 10. It's like a radius. So I get within those miles. It's not going to be exact. Okay. But they'll give me like a range. There's also a reference to 14. That could be miles a day or whatever. But it's like this whole trip was doomed. He got himself into the situation by making certain choices. He does take responsibility for those choices. And I hear him like say, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry I let you down. He knows he made bad decisions. He knows he was in the wrong crowd doing the wrong things, but he wanted to live a luxurious life. And again, I feel like he felt like nothing was ever going to happen to him. You know how most young boys feel. And I feel like if he wasn't this way, he had another exit point. He was living life too much on the edge, and he was a good guy at heart, but he made bad decisions and allowed people to egg him on, so to speak. And he would get in that group, like gang mentality, like group mentality, pack mentality, when surrounded by feeding off that type of energy. I keep eating the color red, so I'm not sure why. He also says, I know a lot of this doesn't make sense, but no matter what, I keep seeing him walking and leaving alone. There was an altercation at some point, though. So those cards come in, and I'm told to mention that because they're reminding me of the altercation cards. So there was a fight at some point, but there was something before he left, which might have been like one reason why he kind of left. But again, he was going to like lay low for a bit, I feel like, in his mind. And maybe he would take away around. I think that I'm invincible thoughts too, but I also feel like there's a reference to 25 as well. That could be year or whatever. As long as he's doing what he was doing, he was worth money to the people. And I feel, again, maybe as times he skated on thin ice, but this would be like pretty risky considering everyone knew where he was going apparently. And I don't know, I just see him alone stumbling himself into a situation. As much as I try to see other things, I just don't. And I could be wrong. I started checking myself a lot with Kylie, and Spirit was right. So I'm just going to give what I'm given. And we all know about the watch, but he is showing me that on his wrist. So is he saying I never should have done that? I still had it? Not sure. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe he'll be found with it. I'm not sure. And he keeps saying like he didn't realize. I think where he got himself into. That's about all I'm getting. Like, he does love and care for those around him. I started actually stop this reading because I was like, I don't know if this is right. You know, people are going to be just like, I don't care anymore. It is what it is. I got what I got. That's that. So, you know, people want to throw a bunch of foul play onto it. Makes me second guess things, but I just got to go with what he showed me. Kept feeling like he was alone. Kept trying to see people involved in anything, and I couldn't see it. So, I'm gonna... Let me take a picture of this and I'll show you. Hold on one second. Okay, now again, I don't know if this is right. Like, I'm literally just using a pendulum in a way that I learned to do it from a lady on YouTube. So she says it's accurate when she does it. I have no way to test to see if it's been accurate for me or not yet, because even with cases that are solved, their body's not there anymore. I don't know if it would show it or not. So that's why I haven't tried it on that. And I just, honestly, this takes a lot of time and energy to actually do this. Because you're feeling the energy on a map. Anytime I'm on a map, I get tired from the map because I'm feeling the energy off of it. And I do get pulled to different things. And it's like, I don't know if I'm being pulled there for a reason or not. So this dot right here is where he was. Now this is kind of the area I'm kind of looking at right here. Now I know it's like a large area, but and like I kept wanting to go this, I could be mirrored. And that's what I'm kind of thrown, like I could be mirrored as far as which direction, if it was left or right. Or if, you know, if he was coming back down, like say he went up and he was coming back down and he just, I don't know why he would do that. Maybe he was trying to find his way back to the Airbnb at some point, but say like he was coming back down and he would have went left, right? So, I did this a few different times. That's why there's so many lines. It's supposed to be where the lines intersect. So as you can see, it's all really close together, but it's not perfect. I kind of circled like an area I'm kind of drawn to like this, there's a Pista Monte del whatever. I'm probably totally butchering everything. And the reason why I'm drawn there is because of this little hiking dude. That's the sign I saw. So I thought that was interesting because there is something that's not far, that's close. And there is water on here. So I'm wondering if he was like, this is why I keep getting he's trying to go near water now. His Saturn's in his eighth house in astrology. We did not get the astrology done today. My friend is not feeling well. And his Pluto is in his descendant house. But it is an Aquarius, but it could have been like an accident. Now, can you take that as like an accident that happened amongst friends? Yeah. Could be an accident that happened because of where he was at hanging out with friends. Yes. But I know like and I'm just learning the astrology aspect, and I know that like the Neptune and Pisces can mean like sometimes an OD and stuff, but like I didn't see any of that. I kept feeling like I was out stumbling around and stuff. But so this is interesting right here because it's and there is a road right there. So, and there is water to the left of that. I wonder. But anyways, Pisces being water, so there could be water around him, or he could actually be in an area where it rains and there's water, whatever. It feels like there's a crevice or ravine or something that's hiding him from being seen in the way that he fell or whatever. Because my head, every time I think about it, my head and my neck hurts. And I think that's what happened last night as to why I couldn't do the reading. Once I put on my necklace today, I felt a lot better, but it's like my shoulders, my neck, my head, like maybe he had some sort of fall where that was kind of jarred because I'm getting like head and it's like going into the back of my neck. So he might have had neck issues, but it's almost like maybe I couldn't breathe. There was something with my heart at some point that caused me to like pass out. And that could just be what he had put on his body. And he might have felt fine at some point, but when you're out walking around, you don't feel fine anymore. I know, been there. So, like, even if we're young, our bodies sometimes can only take so much, depending, especially we have things going on we're not aware of. But it seems like there could be a heart or lung issue at some point, or I can't breathe because I'm feeling that pressure on my chest, unless something happened to his chest. So yeah, I'm kind of like drawn to like this Las Laguntas area, but also here. So, like, and I think when I did the first reading, I feel like he actually wasn't too far. Like, it's almost like maybe he went up and then he came back down and he got turned around, and I'm not really sure. So he's supposed to be like where these lines intersect. They seem to intersect all in the same area. And again, pretty close together, right? I'm still new at the pendulum. Like I said, don't expect it to be perfect, and don't go running off saying, oh my God, this is where he is. And this is where she's saying he is. And be just like put that pressure on me, because I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's not going to hurt to check it, to see, because what else do we have to, to do? And I feel like he's off a trail. Like he's well hidden. Okay. Somehow he's being missed. I don't know if these areas were searched or not. I'm not sure. My chest hurts really bad, though, as I'm looking at the screen right now. So, yeah, I was kind of into this area, and I was like, did I get a P? And I was like, no, I got an S. So, I don't know if there's any S areas around there, because I didn't really zoom in that much. But the little hiking sign, that little hiking thing right there, that's the sign I was seeing. And I didn't even know there was that on the map. I looked at the map before, but I never saw that before. So that's validation to me. So I think it's important. I think it's an important reference point. Okay. So that's all I can say about that. All right. And hopefully you guys will catch the live tomorrow night. And if not, then I will see you guys soon. And I appreciate all your love and support and whatnot. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the channel. And I hope you understood all that. I know sometimes I get a little all over the place. That is just part of being a medium and myself. So again, I wish you all the best. Stay safe out there and try to stay cool. I know I'm not, but you guys can. Have a good one.